How you doing? Okay, so I'm just going to start out by saying this design is not working, and I'm going to describe it. I'm going to explain to you why. And at that point, I would like to just emphasize that don't ever let anyone tell you the work isn't working without a thorough explanation of why. Um, and ask questions. I mean, if somewhere down the line in your career you have an art director who says, "No, I don't. This isn't working. Go do it again." Say, "Well, you have to give me some direction here. What isn't working? What is working? What isn't working? And what can make it better?" And that's always really a super important thing to keep in mind while critiquing design as well as while receiving critique. So initially, I thought the quote was perfect for the conceptual approach for the Pirelli poster. Have your work up. Um, and yeah, everything makes really good sense. And using the Testapiece with the conceptual development and the conceptual meaning behind the advertising, it's really good. And this was an iconic illustration at the time. So what I would like to do is I would like to explain, or I should not explain, I shouldn't say that. I should like to describe why it's not working. There are too many visual stops in the piece. In other words, you've got too many visual elements competing for attention. You've got the stripes, then you've got this block of text here. You got this block of text set on its side. You've got the name, the quote, the name of the person who owns the quote. You've got the image. You've got the drop shadow or that duplication somehow of that image in the background. You've got the logo, and then you've got this other drop shadow back here. It's too much. And in conceptual design, specifically the Testapieces, a lot of it had to do with simplicity. So there's this thing called Hicks' law, where everything you add to a composition takes away from what's already there. So really, to empower the central focus of any piece, you really want to not embellish it and not really place it among too much competition. For that reason, I would recommend doing this. I would take just this piece and I would just use the illustration alone. You don't even have to include the logo or anything, just the illustration. Place it on the left side of the composition, okay? White background on page. Then let's follow that simplicity by simply taking your quote and reorienting this quote more traditionally as a quote. So in other words, let's get some quote marks. Let's get this really looking like it's a quote instead of, the viewer doesn't know where to go from here. After design, do we go here, or do we go here? And to be quite honest with you, I had to look at your quote to decide where to go. So it goes, I believe that in design, 30% dignity, and then et cetera, et cetera. But this is just impossible to read. So it's kind of counterintuitive to the fact that you're pointing to this kind of conceptual approach to poster and illustration, and then mixing it with this Fukuda quote, but it's just getting jumbled up in the message. All right, so I would reconfigure your type, definitely. And when you do decide your type, this is it's a long quote. So remember that there's a natural cadence to every verse. There's a natural cadence to every group of words or sentence or paragraph, and you have to decipher that cadence, and you can use the ends of especially in quotes, the end of the line for the natural break. Okay, so for example, there's a natural break after every line here. So it's not working because you're saying rather than catering to but there's a little mistake right there. That T is running into the O. So rather than catering to the design sensitivity of the general public, there is advancements in design if people are left. See what I'm saying? What you need to do is really decide how that would read out if it were a quote. If this were a spoken word, where would the breaks be? Use those breaks to end your lines and begin your next lines. Okay, I would left align this, right rag like you have. Try to shoot for at least, well, yeah, the best I can say is to set this up traditionally as a quote with quote marks, and then try to bring this a little closer to the quote so it's associated, so by proximity. Okay, so again, white background, that's it. Illustration of the elephant, that's it. Follow where the elephant, maybe where the foot is, or a natural, like where the eye would be, come across, start your quote. Maybe the bottom of the tusks, okay, so here's the elephant, the bottom of the tusk, come across, start your text box there. And then you'll have this really wonderful relationship between the illustration and the quote and the simplicity of the whole movement, the whole modern, the dogmatic conceptual approach to most modern design examples are really pointing to simplicity. All right. Okay. Great job. Any questions at all? Please let me know. Thanks.